Right, thank you. I'm just going to let a few more people in. Great. Okay, cool. Well, first of all, thank you for joining me this evening on this Strength and Energy workshop. I'm just going to quickly let you know who this is for, what it's about, and then I'm going to go over a short bit of housekeeping as well. So this Strength and Energy reset is something that I apply to my clients when they first join the Staple Method or just join the program. So this is for men over 30 who obviously want to feel stronger, leaner, and more confident this summer, but more importantly, want to maintain that after then as well. So this is exactly what these techniques that I apply to my program and to my clients is for, is to get in a shape, but helping you sustain it and maintain it after that, because that's the big thing. So I don't just do short, quick transformations, I do lifelong transformations. And that's what we're going to dive into today. And it's also getting involved without spending multiple hours in the gym at a time and also without tracking every calorie. So we're going to dive straight in. And just a little bit of housekeeping. Please, can you put a 1 in the Zoom chat if you can hear me or if you can see me, if everything sounds okay. Okay, perfect, wicked. And then it'd be great if you could put your phone away for the next, say, 35 to 45 minutes, just so I can get your undivided attention, because there is going to be a lot of actionable stuff in there tonight. And if you can take notes as well, that'd be really good. Obviously, research shows if you write down your notes, it's going to go in a little bit more. So you're going to learn it and then hopefully take action on some of the stuff that we've gone over tonight. And then after this is being recorded, by the way. So this will be on my YouTube. But after the recording, I'll shut it down and then I'll be here. I'll stay behind if anyone's got any questions or has any specific questions, about your lifestyle, your workouts, your nutrition. And I'd love to help you with that as well. And this is just remind me to hit record. So I've already hit record. So we're all good to go. Right. So reasons why you should stick around to the end, because I'm going to teach you how to drop body fat whilst eating normal food. But also one of the most important things I see is teaching you how to train correctly in under 45 minutes. And I see a lot of gents doing sort of training incorrectly. So I'm going to show you how to strength train correctly and the importance of that, so you can build some shape, increase your strength, and therefore increase your confidence as well. And then just one of the biggest mistakes is that keep men stuck in the start Monday cycle. So I've got a few tips and tricks on how to get you through that as well. And then an extra special bonus for free men after. So about me, why you should listen to me, who am I, where have I come from, what do I specialize in? So I've helped hundreds of men get leaner and stronger over the last 10 years. And I've been a PT for over 10 years, specialized in helping men, but I have helped women as well, obviously. I've owned a gym for the last 9 years and coached multiple, I would say over 1,000 people in these last 10 years. So, but I specialize in helping men feel leaner and stronger. And just like you, I've owned multiple businesses as well, maybe, or I've had a lot of time. Well, I've spent a lot of time working in my businesses, so I haven't had a lot of time to build my physique, is basically what I'm trying to say. So I've managed to build my physique whilst running multiple businesses. So I can appreciate I've been there, I've done that. So if you're busy, if you're someone who struggles for time, I know exactly how to get you in the best shape possible whilst traveling, whilst working loads, and whilst trying to support your family as well. So I've been there and I've done it, and I've learned loads of tips and tricks on exactly how to get in the best shape as possible with minimal time, minimal equipment, and making your food as simple as possible. So let's jump straight in. And from my tips and tricks and everything I've learned and that I apply in my program, I'm just going to run you through a few of the transformations that I've managed to get recently. So Charlie's 42, he runs his own business. Again, like me, works long hours, and he's about to become a dad, which is amazing. So halfway through the program, we found he's going to be a dad. But when he first came to me, he had low energy and he'd lost his confidence as well. So since in his 20s, he felt really, really good. And now he's got into his early 40s, his energy started to dip and he's lost his confidence. Well, he did lose his confidence. But now if you look on the right, he feels stronger, he's leaner, and he's able to stick to this consistently with ease as well. Adam, similar story. He's an entrepreneur as well. He works for himself. Busy family life. And again, same idea. As he's approaching 40, he was feeling low on confidence, low on energy. But the crazy thing about Adam is he lost 12 kilos without extreme dieting. So he managed to lose 12 kilos, completely transform his body. He did that in a short period of time as well. So this is late last year. And now he feels obviously stronger, leaner, and back in control. And then we got Jack. So this is one of the most recent ones. Jack's a dad of two. He's got a senior role at work. He's a creative. But in just 6 weeks, he's lost over 21 pounds on the Safe Map. And his journey is still going. But I just wanted to highlight this as how much of a change you can make in such a short amount of time. And this is with Jack was actually training. He's only doing two actual gym sessions a week. And then sometimes two gym sessions a week and sometimes two home workouts a week. And all we did is make a few tiny little changes with his nutrition. You can see the results. So this is 21 pounds down in 6 weeks. Journey's still going on, but you can see the massive change. And for him personally, I know Jack won't mind me saying this, one of his big things was when he first come to me, he was really worried about his chest, which is one of my things that I used to worry about as a kid as well. And he really wanted to reduce the size of that. And that's something that we focused on in those 6 weeks. And you can see a massive reduction around his chest area. And we've managed to build up his shoulders and his traps as well. So I'm super proud of Jack. So I just wanted to share that with you as well. So at the moment, you probably feel like this, like you might feel tired all the time, even after a full night's sleep. You might feel low in energy, have afternoon crashes, maybe relying on caffeine, waking up tired, and obviously just feeling drained after work. And these are some of the things that I hear all the time on my consultations calls or when people first join the program. And then maybe you're someone who feels like you know what to do. And a lot of us do because there's so much information out there right now. But some of us, well, a lot of us feel like we know what to do, but we're just struggling to stay consistent. And that's because of life gets in the way, right? So we've got busy schedule, you've got work stress, and obviously you've got family that we need to look after. And this ends up resulting in us, oh, I'll start on Monday, or I'll start next month, or I'll start when the time's right. So I'm going to go over a few things of how to sort of negate that mindset as well. And then lastly, because of all this, you might not feel like yourself anymore. I've been there as well. I've had ruts. Not everyone's perfect. I've had ruts where I'm inconsistent. I just keep putting things off because work's busy. And then, yeah, you feel like belly fat's increasing, clothes fitting a little bit tighter. Confidence then starts to reduce. And then sometimes you can avoid being in photos, maybe around a holiday. If you're around a pool, you don't feel comfortable. And because of all of this, your energy levels start dropping as well. So today, that's what we're going to go over is how to increase your energy. I want you to feel confident in photos, right? The best thing is, and we can talk about weight loss and stuff like that, but one of the main things about this program is you want to feel confident, and there's no number to measure on feeling confident. But the main thing is the whole goal is to get you feel confident. So you want to be in a photo or that, so you feel proud of how you look, right? And that could be any number on the scale. It could be any body fat percentage, but typically what helps us get there is strength training. So one of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot actually is people going too extreme at the start. This is something that we definitely don't do on the Staple Method, but I see it all the time. So whether that's keto diets, cutting out carbs, cutting out everything you enjoy, so maybe cutting out a few beers on the weekend, and just generally unsustainable diets. Now all this will do is end up leaving you feeling really, really fatigued, and maybe you can maintain it for about 2 weeks, and then you start that cycle again. So that's something that we do not do on this program. And number two is thinking that cardio is the answer, right? And I've been there before. When I first got into fitness, I started when I was like 23, 24. So I had a little bit of chest fat that I wanted to lose. And I thought the best way to do it was just hammering out the cardio. I'm going to go running. I'm going to do loads of HIIT workouts. I thought that sweating meant I was burning fat. I didn't do any strength training. And I see this a lot of time with my clients as well. After all of this, like we said in the mistake number one, you can do this for about 2 weeks and then you burn out, and then you skip the gym for a few weeks, and then you just end up repeating that cycle. So we want to negate all of these mistakes. And number three is all or nothing mindset. I've 100% been here myself as well. And this applies to food and to workouts, right? So I literally got off the call yesterday to one of my clients, and we're talking about the mindset around having one bad meal and not letting it turn into one bad weekend and then giving up. And then I'll start again on Monday, and then Monday turns into Wednesday, and then before you know it, Friday, it's the weekend again. So we're going to go over this today as well. But the things that I see is, missing a workout, falling off track, and just thinking, oh, do you know what? I'll start next month. Trying to be perfect all the time. That's something that we see all the time as well. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know I'm a big advocate of just being consistently okay is always going to be trying to be perfect all day long, because you're going to add up those small wins over time. You're not going to fall off track, and then you don't get this all or nothing mindset. And then if you do carry on with this all or nothing mindset, trying to be perfect all the time, you end up stuck in the same cycle for years. So let's not do that. So how we can negate all of these mistakes is the staple method. So the staple method is something I put together from realizing after what I've coached of hundreds of men and women, is that simplicity is the key to making it sustainable and achievable. And that's my ethos. I'm a really big data-driven guy. So I take all of your data, I analyze it all, and then I give you the simplest way to make sure that you can adhere to the program for as long as possible, but also learn the fundamentals of what I try and teach so you can apply this by yourself. So how I work with my clients is, like I said, I will look at your lifestyle as a whole. I'll look at how much you weigh, how much you're moving around, what physique you're trying to achieve, and I'll condense that into your training program, into your movement. But the food is the biggest aspect I see that men, specifically men actually, struggle with. So I'm going to quickly show you what I do inside my program, but then I'm going to teach you how you can do this yourself without me, right? And that's the whole point of why we're here today. But this is the fundamentals of what I'll do. So I will work out how much calories your body requires to maintain its body weight. And then in order for you to create an energy deficit, it's like a fat loss phase. If you wanted to recomp your body, and what I mean by that is burn fat, have more definition, appear leaner, appear stronger, I would put you in a slight calorie deficit. Now, the biggest thing is I hear from men is I do not want to track my calories, and I get it. So this is what I do inside the Staple Method. I will create you a breakfast choice, a lunch choice, a dinner choice, and a snacks and a desserts choice. And I will give you a set amount of meals to choose from. So typically you'll have over 30 breakfasts to choose from, 30 lunches and 30 dinners, and then multiple snacks and desserts. And then all you have to do is log onto my app, you choose one breakfast, you choose one lunch, you choose one dinner, you choose a dessert, and then a couple of snacks. And then all you have to do is if you stick to that, you're going to get results. So all of the thought process is completely taken away. Every meal is high protein, they're all calorie controlled. I just made it a lot easier for you to stick to, and then obviously make it sustainable. So you've just outsourced all of the thinking to me. So instead of clients tracking every gram forever or eating boring meal plans, obviously I give them the flexible meal options that already fit within your calorie target. So now you're like, yeah, great, that's really good, but how do I do this? So I'm going to show you the 5-step process that I do behind the scenes, but you can do this yourself. So step 1, what we need to do is we need to find your maintenance calories and then create a deficit. So just in case you don't understand the whole concept of maintenance calories is what your body requires to maintain its body weight. But what it takes into account is your body's resting calories. So just being alive, you're burning calories. Right now, I'm moving, I'm talking, I'm breathing, my body's burning calories. But then you've also got your expenditure on top of that. So you might go out, like we discussed earlier, you might do a run, you might do a strength workout. All of that adds up. So all of that adds up to your maintenance calories. So that's everything you do in that day. And if you was to eat that set amount of calories, you're going to maintain your weight. So what we want to do is create a slight deficit. And when you're in that deficit, that's when your body is using its extra stored energy, aka fat, is using that as energy, and then you burn it and you become leaner and stronger. Now, there's a couple of caveats to that as well. We don't want the deficit to be too big. So like we spoke about earlier, as people go too extreme, they think, yeah, well, bigger deficit, more fat loss. It doesn't really work like that because your body's got 2 main types of tissue, body fat and muscle. If your deficit goes too low, we start tapping into that muscle reserve. And we don't want that, because this is what you see on people when they take Manjaro, and I can't remember what the other name of the other jab is, but that creates such a big energy deficit. Your body starts tapping into its muscle reserve, and you end up just becoming a smaller version of yourself. Especially if you're like me, I'm coming up to my 40s, and I've had gents in their 50s and 60s. If you lose that muscle, it's so hard to gain it in your 50s or 60s. So what we want to do is create a small deficit with a high protein goal, and you will maintain as much muscle as possible. So I just wanted to explain that to you, and the idea behind it, and that should stick into your brain, because as gents, our testosterone after 30 is coming all the way down. We need to maintain this muscle. So this is our number 1 priority, and that's why we strength train. I'm going to get onto that in a second. So how you can apply this to yourself is you take your body weight in pounds, you times it by 13. Let's say I weigh 210 pounds. I'm going to times it by 13. That's 2,730 But to create the deficit, just minus 500 from your maintenance calories, and therefore I've got my 2,230 calories. Now I'm going to try and eat that every single day. It's not a perfect science because you might be very, very active, or you might be sedentary, you might be sat down all day. So the idea is we'll use this as a base, track it for 2 weeks, and then you track your weight for 2 weeks and track your food for 2 weeks, and then you're going to see how your body's reacting to this diet. So if your body's maintained its weight, drop the calories only by 100 at a time. If you've lost weight, then great. And then we can talk about how much weight you should be losing each week. And it's roughly about a pound a week is the most sustainable way I've found. But doesn't even have to be a pound. It could be a quarter of a pound to a pound. That's a sweet spot. And you can maintain that for all the way up to 4 or 5 months. And then maybe we can rejig it after that. But that's the idea, right? So you're going to stay on top of this. And before I go on to the next slide, is making sure your protein is high as well. So typically, what I would like you to do is have a gram of protein per pound of body weight. So I weigh 210, I eat 210 grams of protein every day, non-negotiable, regardless of maintenance calories or deficit. It's even more important when you're in a deficit because of what we spoke about earlier. Okay, so step 2 is now we've got your calorie target. There's 2 ways you can track it. So I've showed you what I do for my clients inside the program. So I take away all the thought process, and this is how I do it. So you need to either track your food every day I would use an app called MyFitnessPal, and you can set it up in there, put your specific calories on the app, and then track it every day and try and save some meals on there so you've got a little bit of familiarity on there, because we do tend to eat the same breakfast, the same lunches and dinners throughout the week. Not every day, but over a couple of weeks, you're going to start to notice, right? So, and then start to understand your calorie intake with that and track it daily. And now I know a lot of gents I speak to, I don't have time. I've lost you on tracking calories. I know that, but this is the most specific way to do it. So I know you can't be asked to track calories. You just don't have time, right? So another way to do it is, this will take a little bit of time, but it will save you time in the long run. So what I want you to do is you can either write it down on your phone. If you're old school, write it down on pen and paper, but work out meals that you enjoy eating. And then what you need to do is work out the calorie portion of that, and then you can take a picture of it or just remember the recipe of it, and then you save those meals. So for example, you might have a chicken curry, right? Or your wife makes a chicken curry from scratch, whatever. You work out that it's got 600 calories in, and you work out that it's got 40 grams of protein in that meal, and then you write it down as chicken korma 1. You know, as soon as you eat that and it's the same recipe, you're on track. And we need to do that like I've done in my recipe books, and ensure that if you was to have one of your regular breakfasts, one of your regular lunches, one of your regular dinners, that they all equate to around your calorie target. And then you don't have to track, right? And this is the whole point. So we're trying to save time, but you have to put in a little bit of work at the start, unless you have someone else do it for you. But this works really well because we're creatures of habit. And once you know that that meal is on track, you're golden. And then you just rotate those meals as you go through. And then one thing I would say before I move on to the next slide, if you know you're eating within your calorie target and your weight loss starts to plateau, you can increase your movement on there, which we actually know we'll go over that on the next slide. So step 3, we've got our food, we've got our calorie target, we've got our food locked in to hit the calorie target. Now, most of your fat loss is actually going to come from everything you do outside of the gym. And I know that sounds a little bit weird. I'm going to get into why we're actually training on the next stage, but this is the biggest driver for your fat loss. So please do not forget about your steps. And it's the hardest thing I see with gents, that they really do struggle to get their steps in. So aim for, I would start at 10,000 steps a day. And then I would slowly increase it if you feel like your fat loss is slowing down. So I wouldn't go in at 12K straight away, because we need some room to maneuver, and you've got loads of little levers that we can pull to accelerate your fat loss. And you don't want to go full throttle straight away. You always want to leave a few things here and there so we can say, okay, now let's try this next week. So aim for 10K and just monitor your weight. So this is the best way for you to burn your fat, rather than going running, because it's going to give you more fatigue. And this doesn't feel like cardio, but it actually is. So yeah, hit your steps and hit them every day. And you can track them on your phone, or your watch. Doesn't matter what you use as long as you're using the same method week in and week out. Now, number 4 is you need to follow a structured strength training program. This is absolutely key to making sure that you're not going to burn any of the harder muscle that you built from before. So this is the biggest thing to make sure you're going to create shape, which is then going to create confidence when you're wearing your clothes or when you're around a pool or when you're just working, right? This is the biggest thing. So I would prefer obviously 4 days a week, but 3 days a week is great. I've got loads of clients that have got amazing results on just 3 days a week. So if you were to train 3 days a week, I would prefer you to split your days into upper, lower, and then a full body day. And that could be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you're doing a 3-day split, day on, day off is the ideal way to do it. But you can see you could do upper and lower. So Monday, Tuesday, rest Wednesday, and then Thursday, do your full body. Absolutely fine. I just wouldn't do lower body and full body back to back because you're training your legs twice that day. And in terms of your split inside this 3-day week, for upper, you want to make sure you've got an equal part of pushing and pulling. So essentially front half of the body and the back half of the body. Now, because you spend most of our days, like I am now, on the laptop, my posture is going to be a little bit more rounded. So therefore, my chest is going to be a little bit tighter. So that means I need to work on the muscles that are opposing to my chest, so my back muscles that help me pull me back. So you do need a split. And I personally would prefer have more pulling exercises to open up my chest and better my posture than pushing. Because back in the day, I was guilty of this. I would go into the gym and I'd be like, oh, I'm going to smash out loads of chest and just do chest 3 days a week. And then what happens is your chest gets tight, your shoulders come forward, and therefore you've got really bad posture. So you need to be smart with your programming as well. And we're always trying to do some corrective exercises to be open. So I would go for 2 or 3 pulling exercises and maybe just 2 push exercises. And that could be a horizontal and a vertical. So you've got your shoulder press, which is your vertical, lying down flat, which is your bench press, which is your horizontal press. Yeah. And then pulling, you've got pull-ups, that's your vertical pull. And then you've got some sort of row for your horizontal row. If none of this is making sense or you do have any questions, wait to the end and I can go over this in more depth because it does make a difference. Or I could just send you over just like a really simple 3-day week. So you can just message me on Instagram if you want my 3-day split. And then full body. So you do your legs. Now, I know, again, a lot of gents don't want to train legs, but just to impact you with this. So your lower body is the biggest driver for your mobility when you get into your 50s and your 60s. So we do want strong legs, right? If you think about it, and I've seen this with my granddad, my nan, they're in their 80s and they struggle getting up and out of a chair. It's because they didn't maintain their leg strength in their 70s and their 80s. I just can't emphasize how important it is for you to have strong legs. And also, if fat loss is one of your goals and we're doing our heavy compounds, so our squats, our leg pressing, we're burning more calories. You're using all of your whole body for your legs as well. So that's just why it's so important. So do not skip leg day. I know I've done it before, but I've learned my lesson. And then if you're going to train 4 days a week, upper, lower, nice and easy. And that I would prefer upper, lower, because you're going to get a faster progression, more volume, you're going to burn more calories, but you're going to get more shape in your body because you've got an extra training day. So if you do have any questions on that, let me know, and I can actually send you over either my 3-day split or my preferred 4-day split. Just give me a message on Instagram. Just DM me the word program, and I'll send that straight over. And lastly, this is the most important thing: is accountability. So you've got everything now you need to know in order to get to your dream physique and maintain it. So what's going to help you do that is being accountable. And you can tell your wife, you can tell your family, I am doing this program for me. I'm telling you this so you can help me keep accountable. As soon as you start telling people, you're just way more accountable. Someone's going to start asking you, oh, how is your training going? And then you're going to have to be like, oh, I don't know, I'm going to start on Monday. So having someone keep you accountable is massive. And how I want you to keep yourself accountable is with your workouts, you're going to go to your calendar and I want you to put them in like meetings. And you'll see me saying this on social media all the time, but it works. And I have to do this because I will get to the time I've got to work out and I will have a million and one things I need to do. And I will just say, shall I just do the work rather than training? But because I've allocated time and it's in my calendar, I have to do it. The second thing is on a Friday, please, please, please jump on the scales first thing in the morning, go to the toilet, and then weigh yourself naked every Friday at the same time. And just write it down. You don't even have, you can use again a notepad or use your phone. Just write it down and log it. This is going to help us see what we've done over the week. It's just data. So data is going to allow us to be like, have we had a good week or a bad week? Take progress pictures at the same time. A caveat to that is I like to look at progress photos and body weight at the same time. Body weight only tells one part of the story. Your body weight can fluctuate because of water. Are you just holding on to more? Do you need to go to the toilet like a little bit longer? Is your body holding on to water? How much carbs did you eat the day before? All of these things do affect body weight when we're coming down to the fine tuning of things. So this is where the progress photos come in and we can start to see. I've had actually Tony on one of the previous slides. He was weighing in at 210, and after I think 6-7 weeks he's weighing 205, so he'd lost 5 or 6 pounds, but his physique completely changed. And if we was going by scales we might have been a little bit disappointed, but the progress pictures are insane. So it just shows you that he was able to put on a little bit of muscle and shed a lot of fat, but obviously just stay slightly heavier than he wanted to be. But the progress pictures told a complete different story. So use both and understand the nuance between the two. Track your steps weekly. You can pull up your phone and you can look at your daily average step count. And I go with on my clients a daily average step count because it's just going to show you averages are way better than just having a great day and then a bad day. But actually, similarly though, on a Friday you might do 15,000, on a Thursday you might do 11, and then you're averaging around that mark of where you need to be. So just look at your steps and analyze it. Oh yeah, do you know what? My average was bang on where it needs to be. It was over 10,000 a day, and then tick, done. Or if it wasn't, what can you do to improve that next week? And then workouts. How many workouts out of the 3 or 4 did you actually that you committed to? How many did you actually do? Right? And that's you're just being accountable to yourself. So if it's 2 out of 3, great, it's not bad. But can I get my 3 out of 3 next week? If you got 3 out of 3 and you're ticking that off, that's going to give you that mental validation that you're doing something for yourself and you're benefiting yourself. And you're going to go again. So you're going to your motivation is going to start to snowball. And this is why it's so good to hold yourself accountable. And just be consistent with these weekly check-ins with yourself. I cannot emphasize that enough, because we need to tick these weeks off one by one by one by one. And imagine if we tick off 5-6 good weeks, that's when our progress really starts to sort of snowball again. And if you have one bad week, don't worry about it. You just carry on going, carry on going, carry on going. Consistently okay is going to be way better than trying to have these perfect weeks, okay? I hope that makes sense. So now, from all of this, you've got 3 options of what you can do. You can keep doing what you're doing. You can sort of keep doing what you're doing and keep getting the same results that you've always got. But I would spare you on to please, please, please trying to at least action some of this stuff that you've gone over today, because I know it works and it's worked for the last 10 years and it continues to work. So your second option is to try and apply this yourself. So like I said, go through all those steps. I hope you've taken some notes, but I have recorded it, so I'm going to upload it. Apply this yourself and it will work. 100% it will work. And just message me. Once you get your results, message me and let me know how good you feel. Or option number 3 is get help and we can build a plan together. So if you do want to help, obviously applying all of this properly, and if you want me to take the stress away and the thought of tracking your food, how much steps do they eat, what's the best workout for me, if you want me to apply that to you, I've actually opened up 3 spots in June for men who obviously want more energy, better structure, more importantly, hold you accountable to this every single day. So how you get on with workouts, how did you feel waking up today? To get leaner and stronger, and obviously we'll build a plan around that fits your life. So if you do want that, head over to, I've got a special offer as well, head over to Instagram and just DM me the word offer about one of those 3 spots. It's a really, really good deal. Once they're gone, they're gone. What date are we on now? So we just got, a few weeks left of June. So if you're watching this from recording mode, they'll be gone. But if not, just message me the word offer and I'll get straight back to you. So I'm just going to pause the recording here. I'm going to deep dive into questions. I can see a few of you got some questions. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. and I'll speak to you soon. Tim, yeah, so I'm just going to open up the question floor to Tim. And if you let me know